This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
Hello and welcome to the DailyFX Forum Highlights video for December 4th. Just scrolling through the forums tonight here on the scalping and intraday trading thread. Some posts here by Brad, 1199, responding to Michael GCSDV about his percentage returns. I recommend everybody scrolling up and reading through that post as well. And also Brad has posted some trades here on the dollar CAD showing the upper the Bollinger Band here on the daily chart, and we can see some successful tests of that upper Bollinger Band, about 6 or 7 of them, and Brad's looking for another test that would work out for a short trade, and he's zooming in and showing his exact entry and where he would look to take profits as well as his stop location. So scrolling down a little more, something else that I wanted to highlight, Sean's post here. For those of you that will be monitoring or trading NFP, you may want to check this out, which is a link to the Trade the News calendar at DailyFX, and John Kicklighter will also be walking you through trading that news event live as well. And I want to show you what I'll be doing during NFP. It's a my news-based strategy for large news releases. That's what I'll be doing. But in all seriousness, this is what I want to highlight right now, what I personally look for and how I utilize these news events when large news events are going to hit the wire. What I look for is for clearly defined ranges to form in the hours preceding the release. So what we might look for over the next several hours, and this is the euro-dollar chart, and this would apply to most currency pairs, most of the major currency pairs, is for a range to develop here. Right now this is about 50.67. That's this line right here, and that's this previous high. What I would like to see over the next several hours is this line being confirmed. I wouldn't enter a trade right now, although you might take a chance on something like that. But personally, I would wait to see at least a candle or two hit that line, and then sell off a little bit, and then look to enter at that point. We want confirmation that this line is acting as resistance. And on the downside, it's not as clearly defined. This is about the 50.45 or 50.46 area here, and this low is about 50.37. So that's something also we would like to see at least a little bit of confirmation. We also have this low over here, so it's not as clearly defined on the downside, but again, this is something we can monitor over the next several hours until that NFP release. I have also included a video directly beneath this video which describes this news strategy in a little bit more detail, so certainly if you're interested in something like that, feel free to click the play button on that video. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX forums. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the DailyFX forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections, and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But personally, I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now, these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education, such as DailyFX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally, the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads, just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart, but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to, shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things, with the right mind in terms of, I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. My username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, you know, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on, you know, how to use the forum and how different traders can use it, you know, in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register, the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, you know, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now, the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now, I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now, there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should, you know, double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would, you know, suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.